Now I know a lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts. I think they're one of the most versatile and interesting vegetables you can grow. They also happen to be one of the healthiest, particularly if you eat the leaves. Now, you know, when I say versatile, people think, well, how come, what's so versatile about a sprout plant? Because basically you just sort of plant it in spring and harvest it in winter, and you know, it's a pretty boring plant really, but it's not. And this video is all about why. So my favourite leafy brassica is definitely the Colette. Colettes are a cross between sprouts and kale, and you get a beautiful, at every leaf junction here, you get a beautiful little bunch of really tender kale leaves in winter and early spring, just at a time really when the kale is starting to give out. But this video isn't about colettes, it's about sprouts. So everybody grows sprouts for winter, and that's what I'm doing here. And you can see the sprouts starting to form, all the leaf junctions. These are beautiful plants, and they'll grow, you know, probably about 5 feet tall eventually. They'll need staking, and there's not a lot to say about them really. They're fantastic. I like to start them, well, plant them out in May, and you just have to watch for cabbage aphid. We've got a bit of cabbage aphid on these, needs blasting off with water. But other than that, they're a fantastic plant. But I want to talk about sprouts grown to eat in summer. So these winter sprouts are grown about 80 centimetres between centres, and so in a square metre you're basically getting 4 big sprout plants. I like to pop some cabbages in the middle, and so I have about 1.2 metres between my sprout plants in this bed. But in this bed, by contrast, these are started much earlier in the year. So rather than planting these in May, these are planted in March time under one of these little low tunnels. And one of the beautiful things about sprouts is that they don't go to seed easily. So even when you sow them really early in the season, they don't go to seed in early spring, which is what would happen if you planted kale, for example, which means that you get this incredible profusion of leaves. Now, rather than planting these at a density of about 4 per square metre, I plant these at a density of about, well, between 18 and 27 plants per square metre. If you plant them at the slightly lower density, they're absolutely perfect for sprout tops and early summer sprouts themselves. If you plant them at the higher density, the 27, you just get an incredible profusion of leaves. And that starts in early spring, just at the time when all your other kales and other leafy brassicas, apart from spring cabbage, have basically gone to seed. So these plants are just starting to form sprout tops, and they're just the most incredible tender leaves. I absolutely love them. But even these more mature leaves are fine, you just treat them like cabbage. Now this bed has been planted at the lower density, about 18 plants per square metre, and so I've been taking the sprout tops off these plants for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't think I've got any left now, or maybe I've got one left here, so I'll be taking that sprout top off. Now these are not the best sprout tops ever. As you can see, they're not fully hearted. And so the reason that I'm taking them off just slightly earlier, you can of course leave them, and I will be leaving some of mine, is to stimulate the production of the sprouts themselves. And so these have had the top off for 2 weeks, and already we're getting really lovely sprouts here. So I'm going to pick a few of these and then we'll take a look at them. You could leave them on obviously a little bit longer than this, but you know, why wait, because we're going to have plenty. And let's take a look at them. So you can see that they're a lot looser than you would expect a sprout to be in winter. And I really love this looseness about them. They're just basically tenderer, milder in taste, absolutely gorgeous. And there's another way of doing this as well, which is to start your sprouts off about now and take the tops off in sort of September time, and you'll also get these sort of like nice loose sprouts as well. So once you've topped your sprouts, you're basically not going to, they haven't got much life left in them. So probably within a month's time, these plants will be finished. You'll have been harvesting these lovely blown sprouts for a month, and then you can plant something else. It's worth mentioning that in sort of September time, you can also just top your sprouts just the same, your winter sprouts, to get an early crop, but it just seems such a shame. It's much better to grow a small bed like this at really high density to meet that need for early sprout tops and early sprout leaves, and leave your winter sprouts at the low density to feed you in winter and early spring. And can you spot the caterpillar? So this is the sprout bed in the back garden, and this is the one that I'm going to leave for tighter sprout tops. And so you can see these are starting to curl in really nicely now, and these are just going to be amazing. And this is one of the beds where there's 27 plants in that bed, and it's literally 1 square metre. It's the same size as that salad bed there. So I hope you like this quick video. Have I convinced you to grow sprouts? Have I convinced you to grow sprouts in a different way? Hopefully. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.